I'm really, really excited about talking about purpose because I think it's a topic that has become increasingly important over the last few years and will continue to become even more important in the future. And also really excited to share with you our journey into becoming more purpose-led as a company. And that started about a year ago, actually. And it really fits in, being purpose-led really fits in with what we're already doing. So, and some of you might be on a similar journey as well. And during the workshop part, I would really like to hear some of your insights into that. So the main aim of this session really is to generate interest and to give you an understanding about what being purpose-led really means and what that could mean for your business. And then hopefully you'll go away and you'll have that desire to explore more for yourself and for your businesses. So what are we going to be talking about today? We are going to be talking about what being purpose-led means and what that means in particular for your own business. Why it's important today and why it's important for the future. And how to build trust by making your purpose tangible. So I'm going to talk for a little bit about these things and share a few ideas. And then there'll be a workshop section towards the end, which will really give you the opportunity to look at your own businesses and your own marketing and your own purpose as a business. So you'll have the chance to actually put your purpose into words, and you might already know what that is, or you might be discovering that a little bit today. So what is purpose-led? What does it actually mean? Well, as business owners, you probably know what it is that you do, right? Should hope so. And you'll probably be able to talk about that to others. Additionally, you probably know how you do what you do. And again, you'll probably be able to talk about that to other people with the intention of maybe encouraging them to buy your products or services. There was a session earlier today on marketing strategy and marketing tactics, and it was all about how you do what you do and how you communicate with your customers. So I want to do a really quick exercise to get you guys moving a little bit and get your thinking caps on. Could everybody please stand up? Thank you. So please stay standing if you know what it is that you do. Great. Really good. Tina? Okay, please stay standing if you know how you do what you do. Ah, you guys are really switched on. Okay. Please stay standing if you know why you do what you do. And you can talk about that to people. Oh my God, you guys are really great. Very switched on. Fantastic. Okay, everybody can sit down now. Thank you very much for participating in that. So being purpose-led is about why. Why you do what you do instead of focusing on what it is that you do. Simon Sinek is an author and a consultant who's written a book called Starting with Why. Who's heard of Simon Sinek? Okay, great. So some of you have, and if you have, you know this is what he says. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. He's also done a really popular TED Talk by the same name, Starting with the Why. So I'm going to pick on you for a little bit, a couple of you. I'm going to start with the why. Somebody please tell me their name, what they do, why they chose this session, and what they hope to gain from it. Okay, in the back? So why you came to this in particular session and what you hope to gain from it.
Okay, so why to this session to actually talk about highlight exactly what we can do to provide support for businesses in the area to overcome the challenges that they have. Specifically for this event, because obviously it's one of
Okay, thank you. Can I hear from one more person, please? Yep.
I'm Becky, I'm
Okay.
a workforce facilitator. And the reason I came to this session is I think the only way businesses survive these days is through authenticity. And I model that with the young people I talk to. So I want to be really showing that my business has purpose and that business has purpose when I'm talking to young people.
Okay, excellent. And you know, your target market actually is all about that. It's all about purpose. Excellent. Thank you very much. So going back to Simon Sinek and his message, in his TED Talk, he talks about finding a pattern, finding the reason some companies are really innovative and hugely successful. He says they start with why. Why does your organization exist? And he gave us the golden circle. Oh, I should show you the golden circle. Instead of working from the outside in, what, how, why, we need to think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Because it's what we do, it's why we do what we do that resonates with people. And it's those organizations that inspire, no matter what industry they're in, are the ones that do this. They think, act, and communicate from the inside out. So the example that Simon gives in his talk is Apple. He says that if they were like other companies, they'd say, we sell computers. They're beautiful and easy to use. Please buy a computer. Well, that could be any computer company out there. And more importantly, it's not hugely inspiring. He goes on to say how Apple actually communicate. They say, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we do this is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? So the order is reversed, and it starts with the why instead. So it's much more compelling. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. So the goal is not to do business with everyone who needs your products or services. The goal is to do businesses with those who believe what you believe. So Simon goes on to talk about the brain and how the part of the brain that controls behavior, decision-making, and feelings like trust and loyalty correspond to the why. So leading with the why is much more powerful, and more importantly, it's inspiring. So to give you an example, I'd like to talk about a local Brighton-based company. They're actually clients of ours. They're called Zola Amor. The reason they exist, their purpose, is to make a sustainable life easy and affordable, because they believe it should be easy and affordable. They make and sell organic clothes that are sustainable. And here I just want to point out their mission and their vision too, which is slightly different. Purpose is why you exist. Mission is about what you do and who you do it for. And vision is what you want for the future of your company or beyond that. So Zola Amor's vision is for a future where sustainable fashion is not just a category, it's just the way things are. So their mission is to provide ethical, organic clothes that are sustainable, that everybody can buy. And the purpose, again, is to make a sustainable life easy and affordable. I've got another example here for you of a very different type of company. They are a digital marketing company. They're based in Brighton, but they operate globally. And their clients include Empower and Waitrose, so they're a pretty big company. Their purpose is to make life better. And they do this. They make life better for their customers and for their employees. They're actually named one of the UK's best places to work. I think they hold the number 15 spot. They are a people-first business, and they do that from the inside out in terms of their purpose and also in terms of their employees. By putting people first instead of putting money first in their organization, it means that over 80% of their employees are engaged. They actually include a dream consultation with their employees. So they ask them, what are your dreams? What do you want out of life? And then they include those dreams in the company values and in the company purpose. So it could be, for example, one of the employees wants to work with a specific client. So they really try and make that happen. It could be that they want to get onto the property ladder. They make that happen for their employees. They also keep their team small and cap it at 60. And this means that communication is easy to maintain. It also means that everybody brings something to the table and nobody is a passenger. Everybody is engaged. Additionally, it means they have to be innovative when it comes to growth, because they can't just employ more and more people to do more and more work. They've actually created tools to make life better for other companies, for other marketers, for other PRs. And just to give you an example, one of the tools is called Answer the Public, and it's a marketing tool. And if any of you have been to our SEO workshop, you will have remembered that we recommend this tool because it is really useful and it makes life better. So these are good examples of how they build trust through making their purpose tangible. Now, the MD of PropellerNet, Nikki Gattenby, actually wrote a book called Super Engaged. And this is my first book recommendation of the day. It's called How to Transform Business Performance by Putting People and Purpose First. And it's a really fantastic book. And I actually brought the copy because it's more memorable if you see it. So I recommend that if you are interested in learning more. So why? Why is this important now? Why did the Chamber think it was a good idea for me to come and share this with you today? Well, there seem to be a lot of conversations surrounding purpose and purpose-led organizations. I've read a lot of books, I've read a lot of articles, I've been to lots of talks, I've had lots of conversations. And in the past, I always kind of thought that being purpose-led was more for charitable organizations or companies that are really niche, or companies that specialize in ethical products, like the Zola Amore company that I used as an example. Because it makes sense for them, because their purpose is really clear and simple. I didn't really think that being purpose-led was for all types of businesses, and I didn't really think that it would be something that we would be able to do. However, my aha moment came when I attended an event that's run by the Possibility Club. And these series of events are called What If events. So the premise is that 3 speakers come and they pose a what if question. What if video games were taught in schools? What if there was no gender bias? And they tell their story about their what if, and then it's opened up to whoever's there, and we discuss it. And the one that I went to, or one of the ones that I went to, the what if question that somebody posed was, what if every new business model was purpose-led? And through having these conversations and hearing what they had to say about it, I kind of thought, yeah, this is something that really fits in with what we're already doing and why we exist and how we actually operate. And that was actually about a year ago, so we've kind of been on this journey for a while now. So why is it something that businesses are paying attention to now? Why has it come to the forefront? Because it's not a new concept. I mean, Simon's TED Talk was like 8 years ago. Well, having a purpose is really important in life, as you probably know. It helps with well-being, it helps with mental health, and it also helps keep you productive. If we have a simple gathering, there has to be a purpose behind it. Otherwise, why would you go there? Why would you organize it? A few months ago, I went to a talk at the RSA, and the speaker was a conflict resolution expert who was telling us about her book that she wrote called The Art of Gathering. And there were a couple of things that she said. I mean, she said a lot of stuff, but a couple of things that I wanted to share that really stood out for me. The first thing was, when you're doing something, whatever it is, be present in that moment so you can really focus and get the most out of it for yourself and also for others. The other thing that she talked about was honoring the people that you've asked to gather. So really honor them, or if it's you're gathering together, honor the people that are nearby that you're having that experience with, because I think that really gives more meaning to what it is that you're doing. So whether it's a drinks party or a multi-million-pound campaign, having a purpose behind that makes a huge impact to the people. So for me, it was participating in that Possibility Club conversation that inspired me personally to go on this journey. So here's my second book recommendation. It is called The Participation Revolution. It's by a guy called Neil Gibb. And I first came across him last year at the Brighton Summit, nearly a year ago, and he gave one of the keynote speeches at the Brighton Summit. And it was all about his book, which is very complex, and I can't really explain exactly what it is. But the theme of his book, Participation and Purpose, seems to be echoed through all of the talks that I've been to, all of the books that I've read, all of the articles, all of the conversations that I've had around purpose. So really what I'm saying today is kind of like a summing up of all of this that I've been sort of immersed in. And I'm just wanting to share that with you because I think it's really, really important. And I feel quite passionate about it. So businesses need to show that they care about people and that they benefit society. Are they fair? Are they being true to their purpose? Those are points that are at the top of the agenda for businesses today, as Becky was saying. And for organizations that do this, experts are saying that those are the businesses, the ones that put purpose at the forefront and ensure that it permeates the whole organization, are the ones that will be the most effective going forward. Communicating that purpose to your team, to your employees, to your customers is a little bit harder than just saying, oh, we're purpose-led. And this can be a journey, and it evolves over time. But the businesses that are doing this are the ones that will stand out from the crowd, and they're the ones that will survive, because they are doing what resonates with their customers. So going back to Neil's book, he talks about Generation Y. There are 17 million millennials in the UK. That's just over a quarter of the population. And in a few years, they will make up 50% of the entire population of the USA. That's about 164 million. So in his book, he talks about a study that was done in the US by the National Society of Scholars. And it basically concluded that young people today consider having meaning in their lives to be the most important thing. They want to live their lives with meaning and have careers that are meaningful. So companies themselves needed a way to talk about how they are being better, how they are doing better, and that they too care about a change for good in society. So they needed a different dialogue, a different and more meaningful way to speak to people. They needed to change things up. They needed to shake things up. So we've talked about what purpose is and why it's important, and I've given you a couple of examples of how companies are making their purpose tangible. And as I mentioned before, we are on that journey now, and we have been for a while. And it does take a while because obviously my main job is to work with our clients and help them communicate their purpose through their own marketing. However, as I said before, I do feel very passionate about this, so I spend a lot of time reading and talking to people and going to events so that I can learn more and do better and be better. How you make purpose tangible for your own business will be up to you and will stem from your own purpose and uniqueness of your business. In many cases, purpose is inherent. It definitely is so for us. So this is a model that I first came across in a talk by brand strategist Alison Sharp. And at the end of the slides, I actually do a reference page that has links to some of the videos and talks that I've been mentioning here. And I'm happy to share these slides with you afterwards. Is that possible, Tina? Yeah. So I've basically taken her model, because I think it's really useful, and I've adapted it slightly. But basically, it helps you to have a starting point, and then kind of keeps you on track so you can revisit it and see how it's, how you're doing. So you start with discover, or I like to say rediscover, what you stand for, what your purpose is. Because a lot of you already know, as you saw, nobody sat down, you already know why you exist, what your purpose is. So it may just be rediscovering that a little bit and honing that a little bit. Then you need to bring it to life. How will you activate your purpose? How will you bring it to life for your own organization, your own team, and your customers? So going back to PropellerNet, one of the ways that they activate their purpose is they actually give their employees paid days off to go and do volunteer work or to work on a passion project of theirs, because they know that if they help make their employees' lives better, that when they're at work or when they're working for the company, they'll be super engaged. Then you need to make it tangible. You need to engage. How do you resonate with your audience? This is where you can really bring it to life through your storytelling. Was anybody in Al's storytelling session? Yeah, so this really goes hand in hand. You can bring it to life for your customers through telling the stories of your company, of your brand. So, and then what is the difference that you're making? Can you measure the effects? And then does that inform how you deliver on your purpose? Maybe you need to change some things along the way. Your storytelling might evolve over time, and because of the projects that you work on or the people that you work with. So it is evolutionary. So just to give you a quick example, I'm going to use us as an example. So after my aha moment at this event, and then hours of thinking and reading and researching and talking and all of that, we held an event. And that event has since been known as our barge event, because we held it on a barge in Brighton Marina. And it was at that event that we really started to rediscover and reframe why we do what we do. So much of what we do already fits in with that. So it was really a case of filtering that through on our website, through our marketing materials, the way that we do our proposals, how we speak to our clients, what we do with our clients, and also through our social media as well. Okay, so this is the workshop bit, and this is where you can really begin to think about your business and why you do what you do. And even though all of you already know why you exist, it might be a really good exercise to actually write that down and kind of have that on your worksheets that you've all got at your table, because that can help you then to work out how you're going to make that tangible and how you're going to bring it to life and strengthen things like trust and brand for your company. So if we start with the one that has why at the top, and then on the other side it has values. So if you just take a few minutes and write down things like, why does your organization exist? Why do you do what you do? Why do people want to work with you? Why do people want to work for you? Now, if it's easier, because I did this exercise myself, if it's easier to start with the values, so writing down your company values, then that's absolutely fine too. You've got the values worksheet there, and then pull from your values what your purpose is. Okay, when you're finished, I would like you to turn to the person next to you, and I would like you to take turns telling them what your company purpose is, because it may be that when you actually verbalize it, you might want to change a few things, or you might think of something else, so that your partner might have questions about it. Okay, so when you're ready, if you turn the worksheet over to the other side, you'll see a couple more sheets. And the next one, I would like you to think about, and you can do this just by discussing with your partners if you like, or you can write it down, is how are you going to bring your purpose to life? What's your mission? What's your vision? How are you going to make it real and meaningful? So if you think about that, maybe talk about that with your partners, because you guys are doing really well talking to each other, or you can jot it down, however you would like to do it. Okay, so the last exercise is making your purpose tangible, and this is where the storytelling side can really come into play. So on this worksheet, I would like you to brainstorm with each other ways that you can make your purpose tangible for your employees, for your customers, for people that you work with, your collaborators. And that could be something as big as creating and running a podcast, or it could be something little like writing a blog post or something like that. So just take a few minutes, and I don't want to rush you, but I don't want to overrun, because Elena's talk is coming up next, and we all want to have our tea and pee break before that. So just take the few final minutes, and then I've just got a couple more slides that will be real quick. So just take a few more minutes to brainstorm some of the ways that you can make your purpose tangible. And I've written a few tips here, really. So think about your website, your blog, any type of marketing materials, your social media, case studies, the way that you actually pitch for work, or the way that you sell your products, if you have products, any talks or events that you go to, and then even as simple as your 60-second elevator pitch. Okay, so thank you so much for participating in that. I hope you found those exercises helpful, and you can always go away and do more work on them with your own team at a later point. So where to go from here? Well, please keep on exploring and discovering. I've put up a couple of suggestions for further reading, the videos that I've been talking about. So Simon's TED Talk is up there, Alison's talk, and also the books that I've recommended as well. And there's a third book that I really recommend, which is by Mary Portas, and it's called Work Like a Woman. Who saw her recently in Worthing? Yeah, it was a really good talk, wasn't it? And her book, and the premise behind her book, is all about how she changed the way that she actually did business and made it more purposeful or purpose-driven. And she actually changed everything up about her business. It took her like 5 years, and she's out now. She's written this book, and she's out talking about it, and it's made a huge difference to her life, her business, and the people that she works with and her customers. Okay, so final slide. Carry on the conversation. Talk about it some more. These are some suggestions for you to link into if you like. The RSA do some amazing events in London, but also they have some in Brighton as well and other places around the country. They also have a really good podcast. The Possibility Club, that was what I was talking about, the event that I went to where I had my moment of clarity or whatever. They also run very local events in Worthing, across Brighton and across London. They're run by a company called Always Possible. Some of you may have heard of them. They also have a really good podcast that I recommend. And then Mary has her own podcast. Now hers is very businessy as well, but she does talk a lot about purpose in her podcasts. And then Creative Mornings, that's a video series that is so fantastic. It's just got all these amazing speakers that talk about really inspirational things. And it just may be that you watch a couple and you're inspired and it takes you in a really good direction. And then you can always come and talk to us about it as well at our Shake It Hub sessions. These are free design and marketing drop-in sessions that we hold every month at the town hall, courtesy of the chamber. And these are sessions where you can come and talk about your purpose, your marketing, how you're making that tangible, anything that you would like to come and talk about. You don't have to book, you just show up. All of the dates are on our website. So that's it from me. My name is Meg, and thank you very much for coming to the session.